Hello, everybody in RP land. I am Lord Vincithius, writer for Amadeus Black, and everybody's throwing videos up, so I felt that it would be just great if I put a video up. So a lot of you don't know me. In fact, most of you probably know my character better than you know me. I'm a goth. In fact, my wife and I are both goth, and she's sitting right over here, right over there. And I wanted to explain a little bit about myself and a little bit about my character, because I know I've approached some of you and you don't know anything about Amadeus, and I know particularly Lupin didn't know how to take Amadeus, and I don't know if this is the writer not knowing enough about the character. I personally don't know if people even read bios. So that being said, so I guess I'll start with me. I'm a gothic Christian guy, so I won't be doing any adult RPing. I know some of you guys are into that, but I won't be taking part in that. This project started because this is my microphone, by the way. This project started because I hit a creative writing slump and would start projects, but they wouldn't get finished. So I needed something I guess, make me feel inspired. And I actually started this originally writing from the first person's perspective about a gentleman named Amadeus Black living in Clovelly, England, which is a real town, by the way. It's on the coast. It's a fishing town, an old-fashioned fishing town, no less. And he goes into England for a Muggle World War II convention. Now, at the time of the writing, you didn't know that he was a wizard, so the term Muggle wasn't used. And while he's on the train, he's talking to this little old lady. They make a stop. She gets off. Somebody tries to mug her. Without thinking, he pulls out his wand, and he uses his trademark jinx, which is called Conglacior, which is actually Latin. It just means freeze. So there's a little tip for those of you wanting to know how to make your own spells. And that's his specialty. He makes spells. Amadeus is a very intricate character. And I really want to get into Amadeus as a character because I think that it's key to understand a little bit about him. He is a Slytherin. I thought it was a fascinating idea to write about a Slytherin because I've taken several different of those little quizzes, and every one of them sorted me into Gryffindor. No matter how I answer the questions, I always ended up in Gryffindor, which tells me that I would have been a Gryffindor, except that I'm American, so I would have not been in Gryffindor because I wouldn't have been accepted to Hogwarts, but that's another issue altogether. And so I wanted to write about a character who was a Slytherin, and he considers himself missorted, and the reason that he considers himself missorted, and this would be really good for people to understand, so they don't take him as just a typical Slytherin. His father, Malvolent, which is a take on malevolent. I deliberately misspelled it. It's supposed to be a take on the word malevolent, which means evil. Was a aspiring dark wizard, but aloof. When I say aloof, that he wasn't quite good enough at the craft to ever raise to Voldemort status, but he was delving into some things that were just beyond evil, and were he to succeed at any of them, he would have been very dangerous. So at the time that his father kills both of Amadeus's sisters, and shortly thereafter disappears. And so Amadeus, at his 11th birthday, which would be when he was going to Hogwarts, was sorted into Slytherin based on the pretense of what he was thinking at the time. In other words, his emotional drive. And in this case, he wanted revenge against his father in the worst way possible. Now, the backstory as it goes is that at the time, he decided halfway through his schooling, he was taking his owls, and one of his fellow Slytherins stole from him, attempted to take his potions exam from him and gain credit for it. And angry, he turns, casts his Conglacier jinx on, and encases this student in a block of ice, and it takes Snape and Madame Pomfrey a great deal of effort to get her unfreeze so she doesn't die from hypothermia. Thanks to the writer of Snape for adding that part of the story. So at that moment, he has his sort of pivotal moment where he realizes he really doesn't want revenge because it just didn't make him feel right. And that's the first time that you're introduced to the idea that he might actually have been better sorted into Ravenclaw or Gryffindor. At that point, he starts studying, and this is really key. This is important to understand about Amadeus. He starts becoming very, very enchanted, is a good word, with spell creation. He realizes how powerful words are and how amazingly intricate that words are, that even if they're not spells, they still have an amazing amount of power. They can hurt, they can heal, and he becomes obsessed with this and starts inventing a lot of spells. One of which, early on, he had invented Conglacier, but now he wants to do something better. And so the biggest triumph he has is inventing a spell that has no effect physically to anybody, except that it's cast it's cast on somebody so that the person that it is cast on will see the most beautiful thing to them. In other words, whatever they find beauty in, they would see. And not only does the spell create this illusion, but it does it so on a canvas of something very ugly. So let's say it was a giant life-size picture of Lord Voldemort, and the spell was cast on, say, Harry Potter. It would cause Harry Potter to see the most beautiful thing in the world to him instead of the picture of Lord Voldemort. So it takes something ugly and it turns into something beautiful. Amadeus becomes more and more obsessed with the idea of beauty because it creates joy. I haven't really introduced that into the story, but that's kind of his background. When he is in school as a student, that becomes his mission. He wants to be able to do that. And so Amadeus is the kind of person that is missorted, but utilizes his time in Slytherin House to capitalize on the strengths of the house in particular without going to the dark side, so to speak. Amadeus, this is also important, is the kind of person that does not say anything he doesn't mean. So if he compliments you because you have nice eyes, you have nice eyes. If he says that your robe is a nice-looking robe, it is a nice-looking robe. He doesn't pay empty compliments. Likewise, he's very brutally honest. So if you've done something stupid, he will tell you. And this kind of sets him apart from a lot of different people. People that meet him soon realize that he has a level of transparency that nobody else has. And so this is key for the character, because I believe that Amadeus himself, when he gets into people's lives, soon shows that he's a plain person. In other words, if he were a painting, paintings are very simple. What you see is what you get. The amount of depth you get from a painting is how much you allow yourself to examine the painting. That's Amadeus. He is a character who is plain. He has his shortcomings. I'm not saying that he's a perfect character, but he has tried to he's trying to reclaim family honor. He is from a third wing of the family of the House of Black. So you have Sirius Black's family. You've got the Bellatrix Lestrange side of the family, and then you've got a side of the family that's never been spoken of before I started writing it, which is why it fascinated me, Amadeus Black's side of the family. So that's a basic breakdown of my character, of who I am. Maybe I'll upload another video later and give you more background. Thanks for watching.